Hi, I'm Pantazi. I have a couple questions that I'm going to be going over, and we're going to have them in separate videos so we can answer them a little bit more fully. I get an email from an individual. I'm not going to name this individual because it was in a private email. It wasn't on the public YouTube channel here. And he's writing about what to tell people about the books that have TCM in it, and the Kyusho isn't pressure points. And he wanted me to explain to him why these people use TCM in their books, like Henri Play from France. He wrote, he did a book called The Vital Points, all right, and it was famous, of course, over in France. It's been translated into a couple languages right now. And what he basically did is he took the notes of Fujita and he transcribed them into French and used a few of the diagrams, many of the diagrams as a matter of fact. And it also looks like he did a combination with either Ohan Soken's notes or Gichin Funakoshi's notes, because you have the same names like Denko and Shobo, and many of those names are mentioned in his book. Now, when you look through his book, it's mostly those notes that he uses. The Fujita notes have no acupuncture in them whatsoever, okay? Nor does the Ohan Soken notes, and nor does Gichin Funakoshi's or Mabuni's book that you saw on Kyusho.com. That's available for free in a PDF if you look for it. So there is, the old notes don't have the pressure points. They don't have TCM. What they do is they describe them in their own language, of course, all right, and then they go into what ramifications, where it's located, and what ramifications they could have if struck or jabbed with a dagger or something of that nature. As a matter of fact, in Ohan Soken's notes, there's a lot of mention about using the dagger. Okay, so that's to stab this area. Now, to me, either you're going to be stabbing at the brainstem, okay, for instant fatality, or you're going to be seeking out blood vessels, blood organs, you know, the vascular structures rather than the hydraulic structures, rather than the electrical structures. Because jabbing someone in a nerve in the arm or the body is going to give them pain, of course, dysfunction, yeah, but it's not going to be mortal wound. And that's what they needed back in those days. They didn't want to just play around with knocking someone out like we do now. Nowadays, it's very valuable to us to have this skill neurologically where we can shut the person down and dysfunction them, drop them off their feet so they're no longer a threat, but without physically damaging them. So modern Kyusho is a different breed than the old Kyusho. The old Kyusho was, of course, to destroy the opponent. Nowadays, legally, you can't get away with that. So it is a big change. Now, how can I explain that to him to explain to others? I can't. All I know is the research I've done, the ongoing research with medical doctors and scientists, rather than maybe a brushing acquaintance with one to discuss it. And why he asks also why a physiotherapist explains Kyusho with TCM. And that man mentioned the Henri Play book. And I can't answer for him. I just don't know why. But my my first thought is they don't know Kyusho. All right. A lot of people didn't know Kyusho, don't know Kyusho. They talk about Kyusho. And what do they do? It's easier for them to go out and do an internet search where there's 1,001 people using the pressure points. or they can go into the medical study as I have. The medical study is a heck of a lot more time consuming. It's expensive. There's many different facets to it. You have to sort through a language, the Latin language for the most part, but a different concept, and you have to understand not only the anatomy, but the physiology, the functionality of the human body as well. So there's 3 facets instead of just studying an easy template with a little bit of a map, a human-made map, by the way, of the pressure points and the meridians. Now again, I've said this in many videos, I rather study and rather work with God-made structures rather than man-made structures. All right, we can see a nerve, we can see a blood vessel, we can see an organ, we can see tendons, we just cannot see meridians or pressure points. So if you're explaining it to someone, explain it that way. It's as simple as that. Can you see a pressure point? Can you see a meridian? Have they ever dissected one out of the human body? All right, this is a question you need to ask yourself, and then you can transfer it to those people. But why they said it, haven't a clue. Don't even care. Okay, all I know is my research is helping me get better as I go through the martial aspects and the medical terminology and working with the real structures of the human body rather than the TCM that I used to use. And yes, transition was difficult as well because I needed to put into that time and research into the real structures. I was a therapist, a TCM therapist, before I got into the martial aspects of the Kyusho. So I knew that paradigm forward and backwards, okay? And it was not the working paradigm of Kyusho as a martial activity. So you're going to have to do your own research. You're going to have to do your own hands-on training to understand what I'm talking about. You can listen to me and you can say, well, the pressure point guys that use pressure points can still do a knockout. And yeah, anybody can do a knockout. Take a 2x4 and slam someone upside the head. They're going to pass out. Hit someone hard enough with a fist anywhere in the head, they're going to pass out. All right? So there's not a lot of a wonder to it. What we're trying to accomplish is get the person down with no physical damage or have the possibility to escalate. And using the real structure is going to give you far more leverage in that, and far more potential and far more skill. That's all I know. So I hope that answers your question, and go from there. Thanks for watching.